Hello, my friend. Amner Hunter here from amnerhunter.com. Happy to spend some time with you in another video. Today we are going to be checking out a couple of plugins by the company Music Hack. These couple of plugins, I believe, can replace pretty much 80% of your entire mixing and mastering chain. If you don't believe me, please stick around. I am going to demonstrate these plugins across a full mix, across individual elements, and also in a full mastering situation, right? I'm talking about the Masterplan and also the Fuel plugin, right? These couple of plugins have a fully featured free trial here at the website from Music Hack. You're welcome to try them. I'm gonna leave you the link in the video description and first comment. Also, you will find a discount and deal at the moment here at Music Hack, and also there is a rent to own plan here at the website. All right, so in today's video I want to walk you through the features and controls, and of course test these couple of plugins and mix and master a song entirely using only these plugins. All right, also I would like to let you know that Music Hack is sponsoring today's video. They approached me and contacted me to do this review for you guys, but all of the thoughts and opinions remain objectively mine. The members of this company are watching the video at the same time as you are. Before we begin with the content, let me invite you quickly to my website amnerhunter.com, where you can get some additional stuff, especially free resources for music producers and guitar players, such as some free PDF guides and ebooks, also some additional free tools such as some collections of guitar impulses and drum sample packs. And don't forget to check out this channel and my blog, which I am updating almost on a daily basis with tons of content like this. Alright, also the links for that are in the video description. Alright, so now let me take you to my DAW. So first, let's check out the features and controls of these couple of plugins, but just before that, let me play you the song I'm gonna be working on at the moment in today's video.
I only got a couple lines, considering how much I want to say. I should probably just...
Alright, something like that. And besides using these plugins, of course, I completely made sure to set the levels of volume and panning in place to the best of my abilities, and taking a time to really craft a good mix without the use of any other plugins, right? And it is worth mentioning that these plugins, the Fuel and the Masterplan, can be used on individual channels, on buses as well, or on the mix bus or master, right? As you can see here, I am not using any other plugins throughout the mixing and throughout the channels, right? Here I have all of the buses in yellow, all of the individual tracks with another colors, and I am using Fuel on buses, and I don't have any EQs, any compressors, any clippers, any other effects whatsoever, right? So I would like to start on drums first, but let's check out some of the features and controls of the Fuel first, right? So this plugin is a sonic enhancer, right? And included in that, it's compression, right? We have a compressor here with one knob, and this compressor can be turned also into OTT, or over the top compressor, which is sort of extreme compression. We can add some body and weight with this control, right? And also we have a big knob here in the center, which is the maximizer or limiter, right? This is a limiter that it's transparent if you use it more healthy, and if you crank it, you can really get into some saturation. And also we have a soft clipping, right? Very useful to clip and to prevent any peaks passing a certain threshold that might overload our output or our master or mix bus, right? Also, we can add some saturation to the clipping with this crunch, We have also low end saturation to control very well the low end while enhancing it. Also we have a thickness control, also to add some power in the low end to the sounds. All right, we have a general dry and wet functionality, just to if you want mix or create the sounds in parallel, right, where you mix the unprocessed and processed signal. Here we have a very interesting control that I love that this plugin has. Also the other one, by the way, the Unity, right? The Unity is a control that lets you sort of make a judgment of what the plugin is doing, how it's affecting the sound without the loudness factor, without the loudness element, right? Because when you start increasing compression, when you start increasing loudness, this saturation, soft clipping, and bass and thickness, you might have an increase in loudness, and loudness can prevent you from actually listening to the effect, and loudness can be deceiving, right? And with the Unity, you leave things as they are in terms of volume and loudness, and only lets you hear the real effect of the plugin, right, on the audio. Also has oversampling to avoid any distortion, any aliasing distortion, especially on higher frequencies where they are saturated, right? You have an input and output, and also there are some presets available for different applications and instruments. Also, you can change the layout and the sort of the visual user interface of the plugin. The background can be red, for instance, or it can be another type of background if you want, right? So like for instance in this case. So let's check it out on drums. I'm gonna use it on the whole drum kit. I'm gonna apply some compression, some soft clipping, some bass and thickness, and I'm going to also increase a bit the loudness, controlling pretty much all of the drum signal. And also I will back up the mix a bit to mix it in parallel, right? So let's do it. All right, so let's increase some compression. Already some extra thump and smack. Let's add some clipping here. Also, this is increasing the loudness, so I'm gonna take the Unity here. Let's apply some low end saturation. Thickness. And let's apply also some loudness. It's saturating the drums in a very good way, I think. A bit cleaner. Okay, and we can now assess what the plugin is doing without the loudness factor using the Unity. But I'm gonna decrease a bit here the output just to have pretty much the same rough level, right? Okay, and I'm gonna decrease a bit the dry wet functionality here. Before, after. Let me have it pretty much 70-80% around that value. Before. Alright, let's leave it there. let's start to use it also on bass. The bass here is a bit overdriven. I want to really control the bass. So let's start with compression. There's some body here. Let's apply some soft clipping. And a bit of crunch. Just a bit of extra saturation. We already have bass and thickness here. Let's click the unity. Let's apply a bit of bass and thickness. And also some limiting, finally. Before. Just a bit less of mix. Just a tiny bit more of saturation. Alright, let's leave it there, and now let's check it out on guitars. I have some heavy guitars here, high gain distorted guitars. Let me put everything to 0 here. Alright, let's add some compression. We don't need much. We certainly are not gonna need bass and thickness here. Let's apply some mild soft clipping. Let's click the unity here to have the same rough loudness. Finally, some limiting. Before. There is more noticeable. Reducing a bit the dry wet. Before. Okay, let's go again. Before. Okay, let's leave it there. So we have the synthesizer here, and let's apply some of the processing of this plugin. I'm gonna click the unity here. Okay, we have some saturation there. Before. If I leave the unity untouched, we're gonna have a lot of increase in volume. Check it out. right? That's why I'm leaving the Unity engaged. Over the top compression. The over the top compression adds another sort of layer, bringing a lot of energy from, I believe, from the bottom up due to the high amount of compression, right? Changing the tone a bit, darker and brighter, right? So let's bring down a bit the... Okay, and finally, let's use it on vocals. I have, by the way, very dynamic vocal tracks here, vocal performances. And with this plugin, we can get it at a very consistent level, very even vocals. We can control all of the peaks, introducing some saturation, some harmonic distortion as well. I'm not sure if we need some low-end saturation on vocals. So I'm gonna keep the Unity. Let's apply some over-the-top compression
You'll not
here.
believe in my new disguise. And baby, there's a lot to let it go. I got the weight of a million lives.
Okay, some saturation there.
And maybe I should try.
We don't need
a
thickness
little
either, I think.
more. You'll not believe in my new disguise. And maybe I should.
As you can hear, we are bringing up also some background noise.
Maybe I should try.
That's a
little more.
counterpart of using saturation, right?
Maybe I should try a little more.
We went a bit extreme here, but we can bring down our good friend, the mix knob.
Maybe I should try a little more. You'll not believe in my new disguise.
Okay, and now that I have all of the tracks with this plugin, we don't need the guitar solo one. So let's check out this mix. I'm gonna turn off all of the instances. There, it's off. And I'm gonna turn them on, all at once, so we can hear the effect.
I only got a couple lines, considering how much I want to say.
After, before,
I should probably decide. I got several volumes on our way.
we could probably back down a bit the saturation here on the drums. We can bring down the mix as well. And what else? Maybe guitars. We can also back down a bit, I think, the mix knob, so that we don't have a very aggressive and distorted mix, right? But let's check it out again. So plugins on.
I only got a couple lines,
Off.
considering how much I want to say. I should probably decide. I got several volumes on our way.
Off.
On this subject and related. Maybe I should try a little more. You'll not believe in my new disguise. Baby, there's a lot to let go. I got the weight of a million lives.
Alright, things got, I think, enhanced. The sound is more consistent. It also has a bit more clarity, It also has a bit more grit. Of course, depends on the genre. I wanted some more grit on this particular track. And due to the use of compression and some saturation here and there and some limiting as well, things are more consistent and you can definitely perceive more loudness, but the loudness is not like, in terms of numbers, it's not higher. It just is the perceived loudness because saturation with together with compression, with limiting and all that, make everything more cohesive and more consistent throughout the frequency spectrum, right? So now let's finalize this mix using the second plugin in this list, the Masterplan, right? An all-in-one tool for mastering and without the use of artificial intelligence, right? I think Music Hack with this plugin keeps things interesting, where you turn up knobs and stuff like that in a very, very minimalistic way, very simple way. You enhance things, but you still have control. You don't let any artificial intelligence do the work, the heavy lifting, right? So the Masterplan, like I said, it's a full signal chain for mastering. It can replace all of the plugins that you need in the mastering situation. Also, this plugin can be used, of course, on individual elements or buses. But today we're going to use it on the master to bring this track up in loudness, to bring it up to commercial levels. And let's explore some of the features and controls. First, we have an EQ, right? An EQ with 3 bands, low, mids, and highs. And here on the mids, we have 3 options. We can go for the low mids, the mid area, and the high mids as well, right? We can attack this with this mid knob. Of course, as well as the fuel plugin, we have the loud knob here, which is the same pretty much as the loudness maximizer and limiter, right? By the way, these limiters on both plugins, they are incredibly well crafted to the point that you can make a track very, very loud without any sort of distortion, and you can take things like on a whole new level when it comes to loudness. I'm not saying you need that much loudness, but these plugins can definitely bring up the loudness to the highest of levels without adding some artifacts. And I suggest you being very careful with the loudness, right? Not just make tracks louder for the sake of it or only to compete out there. Use your ears and remember that you need to keep the dynamics. You need to keep the performance and the track natural. You don't want to get things like squashed to death, right? We want to get things louder, yes, of course, to compete with everything that's out there on streaming platforms and stuff like that. But we want to keep things musical. So I suggest you use the loud and the limiter carefully to healthy levels of loudness, right? For that, we have a very well crafted meter here where we can see loudness units full scale, integrated, short term, and we have also the true peak and the crest factor, which is the difference between the highest peaks and the quieter parts of the track. It could be called also dynamic range, pretty much, right? And the output, is our ceiling, right? So here, for instance, it's at minus 0.10, and it means that no matter what you set here on the loudness maximizer, things are not gonna pass through this threshold, which is minus 0.10. All right. Also, we have a stereo width functionality here. Also, I suggest you to use it carefully. You don't want to lose the center and mid image of your mix. And also, we have thickness. With this, we add some weight and some extra saturation on the low end, okay? Also to control the low end, and we use this control down here to add it. Also, we have this clean control that will remove any muddiness, any muddy frequencies in the low mids, right? Also, this is the control for that. And we have a multi-band compressor, very useful to keep things tight and controlled. We have compression on the lows, mids, and highs. And we have this smooth control that will add some gentle compression throughout the frequency spectrum, right? Also, this calm will reduce any harshness. It's like what Soothe 2 does, right? And we can increase by 2 the processing of this control, the calm, right? Also, we have some cool tape saturation, tape physical modeling saturation. I'm not gonna use it in today's mix because I already applied some saturation and soft clipping with the fuel, but it's pretty cool. Also, I can show you, of course, the sounds, but I'm gonna use it in the final master and final polish, right? And also, as well as the fuel plugin, we have the Unity, where we can hear what this plugin is doing and how it's affecting the mix without the loudness factor. We can really assess objectively if this plugin is enhancing the mix, and we can check it out with the Unity, right? And because, like I said, the loudness factor can be deceiving, and with loudness we cannot really hear precisely the effect of all of this, right? All of this minus the limiter right here. So also, one last thing is that you can check out the sound of the mix or master here on different like mixing devices or translation, right? Such as NSTANS monitors, for instance. There's a profile for that. These are like playback systems, right? Also a phone, right? Like speaker of the phone. And we also have a band. We also have the option to collapse the mix to mono to check for any compatibility issues, mono compatibility and stuff like that. And we can turn it off like that, right? Also, we can change the layout of the plugin, right, to black or white. So now let's enhance this mix to the final product using this plugin. I prefer to start at the chorus, but let's see here from the beginning of the song. I turned off the tape. Let's add some low end.
I only got a couple lines, considering how much I want to say.
I'm gonna remove some low mids here.
I only got a couple lines.
Let's click the Unity to have things in the best perspective for comparison.
I only got a couple lines, considering how much I want to say. I should probably decide.
A bit goes a long way with a whitener. Let's apply some thickness. Cleaning some boominess. Multi-band compression.
I only got a couple lines, considering how much I want to say.
And let's reduce some harshness.
I should probably decide.
Nice.
I got several volumes on our way on this subject and related. Maybe I'm surprised I'm still
take
alive,
saturation,
especially if karma had its way.
okay, and we can see here the loudness units, right? I recommend you go maybe -9 LUFS, right? I know that Spotify recommends you -14 LUFS, but it's very, very low comparing to other tracks. So -9 is a good amount for you to be targeting, right? And we're going to increase the loudness here and protect your ears, protect your monitors, your headphones. I'm gonna get things louder here with the limiter and maximizer here. So we're going to aim for -0.5 decibels. This is going to be the peak, the ceiling, and we're going to increase it to reach approximately -9 decibels LUFS.
I only got a couple lines, considering how much I want to say. I should probably decide.
I'm gonna disengage the unity and now protect your ears. Before, very quiet.
Couple lines, considering how much I want to say. I should probably decide. I got several volumes on our way on this subject and related. Maybe
I think there we could be at a healthy level.
I only got a couple lines, considering how much.
Let's check out the chorus here, finally.
Maybe I should try.
Maybe we are overdoing a bit the
Maybe I should try a little more. You'll not believe in my new disguise. Baby, there's a lot to let it.
So yeah, there you go, my friends. The chorus is a very good part of the song for you to check out your master, right? But I think we are very good to go there. We enhanced the mix greatly, 70-80% with only these couple of plugins, right? And first, finally, let me show you a before and after of everything, right?
You'll not believe in my new disguise.
Then off.
Baby, there's a lot to let it go. I got the weight of 1 million lives.
Right? Only using these plugins, right? Imagine if you use maybe a compressor and EQ before these plugins, well, the result would be much better. But with this, I think we are like maybe 80% there in terms of finalizing the song. So please let me know what you think of these plugins. Let me know what you think of the sounds. What do you think of the Masterplan, of the Fuel separately? You are welcome to try them. Remember that there are fully featured free trial demos at Music Hack's website. The link is in the video description and first comment, right? And also to remember that there's a discount and deal at the moment at the website as well. So thanks a lot for watching, my friends. I appreciate it very much. Take care, and I will see you very soon in the next video, right? Bye bye and take care.